This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. Skip the overpriced coffee and brace yourselves because Gwyneth Paltrow just roasted Meghan Markle's Netflix hustle with an Instagram video so slick it could turn her fancy jam into a truly bad joke. So if you haven't seen, there's Gwyneth, barefoot, fresh face, and smug in her actual kitchen, not Meghan's contrived I'm relatable sham, whipping up eggs and biscuits like she's cracking the Duchess's fragile facade for breakfast and serving it with a side of, bitch, this is my territory look. So the jabs are relentless. As you can see, Gwyneth's monogram mug owns Meghan's stupid calligraphy, a quiet flex that says, I don't need a script to sip my coffee. Her dog ambles in, casual royalty, no leash, no fuss. The whole simplicity of it was brilliant. The biscuits, the bacon, the eggs all sizzle with intent. A smug little jab to Meghan's overproduced mess. Sorry, Meghan, you've been outwitted, outclassed, and now out-paltrowed. So now when you're looking at this actually looks delicious, especially those biscuits. And this is how you influence. Look at those biscuits. Of course, people are going to now be looking at what these Capello biscuits are. And I'll even bet you that Gwyneth is not even getting paid to promote these biscuits. She just likes them. But it gets people to go to their website and choose for themselves. Now, looking at this $14 biscuits, a little pricey for my taste. But hey, if you have the money and you want to indulge, go for it. But for those that are budget conscious, like me, I normally go for the Pillsbury buttermilk biscuits because I think they're really good, even though they might have a lot of artificial ingredients in it. I see nothing wrong with them. And even better when the Pillsbury Grands are on sale. Whew, hold me back. Hold me back. They're like my favorite. But getting back to this delicious shade by Gwyneth Paltrow, she knew what she was doing. She's like, I am the blueprint for what you're trying to do. I don't know if you guys know, but Gwyneth does live in Montecito. And I'm sure people talk. I mean, it's a known fact that Meghan has been forever trying to copy Gwyneth's success with making whatever her lifestyle brand into the next Goop. Now, if you had the chance to watch my last video, I talked about this weird marketing strategy that is built around Meghan now. And I think this situation with Gwyneth is a perfect example, and I don't think it's by accident. It's been a while since Gwyneth Paltrow has been in the news for entertainment. I know that she was in the news for that court case, but we're talking about getting back into movies. And just a couple days ago, Vanity Fair drops their April issue cover, and here she is. Inside is a full spread of what she's been up to and the movie that she is now promoting. And it almost feels like they're using Meghan Markle to draw in people to read this article because they start off with this article by saying, and right here in the title of this cover story, it says, Gwyneth Paltrow on motherhood, Maha, Meghan Markle, making out with Timothée Chalamet, and much more. Like, why do you need Meghan Markle's name in this title? The only reason why you would put that in there is because you know that people are going to talk about it. And that is exactly what we're doing. In fact, this article begins with putting Meghan Markle in the first sentence. High in the hills of Montecito, up beyond Oprah's gates and Harry and Meghan's gates, an endless sprawl of privacy hedges, Gwyneth Paltrow is making coffee in her kitchen. Now, I'm not going to go through this super long article, but it does feel like there are slight references to Meghan, especially in the photos, particularly this one. The thing that I notice here are these two palm trees. Now, we all know Meghan made a big deal about these stupid palm trees in the backyard, and here Gwyneth is showing that she's got them too. I don't know if that's a thing in Montecito, but it sure does feel like she is taking a piss out of Meghan in that photo. From the article, this is what she had to say about Meghan.
Montecito is a Spanish-style Eden outside L.A. that's become as fabled as its residents, which have included American royal Oprah Winfrey, the Sussexes, Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom, Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi, Rob Lowe, and Ariana Grande. I tell Paltrow that people picture them all dining al fresco at a long biblical table, like a Nancy Meyers movie. She chimes in. I don't know Meghan and Harry, Paltrow says. I'm surprised, given how close they live. I mean, I've met Meghan, who seems really lovely, but I don't know her at all, she clarifies. Maybe I'll try to get through their security detail and bring them a pie. She hasn't seen the trailer for Markle's Netflix series, With Love Meghan, either. Based on its fresh, veggie-filled emphasis on the good life, the show seems quite Goop adjacent, but Paltrow is unthreatened. If anything, she's inclined to defend the Duchess. When there's noise about certain women in the culture, I do have, always, a strong instinct to stand up for them. She says she welcomes Markle and any number of Goop's descendants to the proverbial lifestyle space. I was raised to see other women as friends, not foes, Paltrow says firmly. I think there's always more than enough to go around. Everybody deserves an attempt at everything that they want to try.
I think that there were some slight digs there. I mean, particularly around the security, as well as her treating women as friends, not foes, something that Meghan doesn't know how to do. Now, of course, Gwyneth is going to be very diplomatic. She's going to be kind because she's really there to promote this movie. But they know that you mentioned Meghan Markle's name, people are going to talk about it around the world. And that's exactly what's going on right now. See how this works? I mean, it's not necessarily benefiting Meghan. I think it's kind of funny that people are using Meghan now in this way. But, she created this for herself. People want nothing to do with her, but they do, right? So the fact that Gwyneth subtly shades Meghan, everybody is talking about it. And of course, now people are talking about this movie with Timothée Chalamet, Marty Supreme. Now, I'm guessing that Meghan is fully aware of the global awareness that people have when she does anything for it to be scrutinized and to be picked apart. But I don't think she fully understands that the people that are picking it apart and criticizing are not the ones that are going to be buying. So even though we're seeing people having success like Gwyneth Paltrow and the awareness being created, as well as other brands that Meghan has directly copied from, we're now starting to see Meghan feel brazen to start merching. And that's exactly what she's done today. So the kind and compassionate Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, is using her royal title to handpick and curate a collection of things that she loves, hoping that people will also love them because she loves them. The Duchess of Sussex. You see what she's doing here? This is a big F-U to the royal family. But hey, the girl's got to hustle and figure out how she's going to make money because I'm guessing that USAID money has dried up. I think it's the reason why we're seeing now Harry's desperation to sell out his mother again by making a bombshell documentary for Netflix, pitching this idea to sell his mother out even further. And we see these desperate attempts now with Meghan in slowly revealing these children. But how bizarre are these photos? Like, what is Archie doing? Why does it look like he's humping his mother's leg? Like, it's very bizarre. And little Betty, what's wrong with her face? Does she even have a face? Or is this another AI photo? Like, what is that on her neck? Like, what kind of stupid game are these two playing? Look at Meghan holding little Betty. And look at Harry holding little Betty from that July 4th parade. Does it look like she's grown any? No. In fact, it looks like little Betty was bigger in 2023. I mean, remember this photo? Look how big little Betty is compared to Archie. Like, what is wrong with Archie's legs? Why is he always in this position? And like when we look at little Betty, you can't tell me that that's the same child. Either Meghan is showing us old photos, which that could be a possibility, or they've just been hiring these various child models and actors to stand in for this nonsense. I'm going to bet that Meghan does these photo shoots and has a whole stockpile of photos that she's pulling from to either digitally manipulate, alter, or throw up there when she needs to keep her face in the media. This is really mental in what we're witnessing. How long is Meghan going to keep this charade up? Does she plan on doing this for the next 15 years? Because this is like nothing I've ever seen before. We're definitely going to see more of this nonsense as we know that they're playing around with AI. And Meghan just can't help herself by posting relentlessly photos of herself, photos of her past childhood that have been digitally altered, like this one. Like, look at the hands. What's going on here? What is that? And then take a look at her face. This again is another reface. That's not Meghan or whoever we're calling Meghan. Does it look like Meghan has the same hairline there? No, it doesn't. Or this could possibly be the real Rachel Raglan before all that plastic surgery. When you're dealing with this type of fraud, everything that's being put out needs to be questioned. Meghan Markle is a proven liar, so nothing should be trusted. It's guaranteed that we're going to see more of this. And while Netflix wants to spin the narrative that Meghan is underestimated and there is this fandom around her, no, this is not fandom. We're dealing with a con artist who is dangerous. And the only reason why we scrutinize everything is because when you prove yourself to be a liar, you cannot trust anything moving forward with what this woman says. So of course you have to scrutinize it. Of course you have to look at things frame by frame because we have been deceived. Deceived by not only Meghan and Harry, but also by Netflix and everybody who has been supporting this couple in this con of the century. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is this rumor that has been going around about Charles planning on extending a secret invite for the United States to become an associate member of the Commonwealth. You know, when I heard this at first, I had this knee-jerk reaction because why would America even consider being a part of the Commonwealth? I mean, we fought a war for our independence away from this. And then I started looking around to see who was actually saying this, and it's now making sense. Folks, don't believe everything you read here. This is classic Trump, and he knows how to toy with the media. So what does the media do? And the best way to fish out who is behind it, you see who's reporting it. And who was the first media outlet to report this in the United States? It wasn't New York Times. It wasn't the Wall Street Journal. It was People magazine. That should tell you enough that this is propaganda coming from the left to stir up trouble. So then we have Jack Royston today putting out this story to stir the pot. You know, he's the chief propagandist at Newsweek. When you start to realize how the media begins to become weaponized, and the purpose of all these articles coming out now about MAGA being upset about it is really to get people to turn on Trump. And you can't fall for it. Trump is not going to sell the United States out and give up our sovereignty. I mean, it's not going to happen. The Commonwealth literally is like a mini United Nations. We're not going to go back down that path. We don't want DEI. We don't want to follow these SDG goals because literally it is everything that the UN is forcing everybody into doing with this Agenda 2030. Trump is not going to do that. You know, he's already pushed back and said, no, we are out of the WHO. We are not going to be giving any more money to USAID. I mean, he's done a lot so far, you know, and we're not even 100 days in. So don't believe all the headlines that you see. And people are seriously freaking out online, like Alex Jones. He needs to calm down and recognize what the media is doing right now. Trump knows that America will lose its mind if he goes ahead and kisses the ring of King Charles. No effing way is that going to ever happen. I think we just need to sit back, chill out, and watch the show. This is all a part of the so-called art of the deal, as Trump would like to say. Don't forget, we have the situation brewing with Canada, and then we also have these tariffs that are about to go into effect on April 2nd. The EU and the UK don't want to pay it. Now, I'm not freaking out over this because I don't see it ever happening. There's a very, 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 very small chance that this would even be considered because it's not just Trump saying, okay, we're going to join. He has to consult Congress, and there's no way that the conservatives will allow that, especially those that know the Constitution and know our history. I mean, we fought a war for our independence away from a king. We're not going to go back there. Trust me on this one. When you look at the Commonwealth government's principles, they mirror the UN. So talking about sharing data, fighting corruption, defending human rights, when in the UK we have so many human rights violations going on right now. Like you can't really take this serious. You really can't, unless Trump wants to use it for trade in some way or some form. But he's not going to put us in a position where we're going to end up having to be suckered again, because there are membership dues. And, who knows if this is an attempt to now get money this route, which very well could be, because we're not giving any more money for the war, nor are we contributing to the WHO. So perhaps maybe this might be the EU and the UK's way, or a workaround for it. But he's not going to fall for it. He's not going to fall into this trap, because America will get loud. Trust me on this one. And he doesn't want that. All we can do right now is just wait and see. There's no need or reason to get all worked up about it. I think the more important thing is to pay attention to who in the media is saying what. And when you see in the United States the first one to report something like this be People magazine, that should be a red flag immediately, because we all know that People magazine is nothing but propaganda for the left. And then, of course, Jack Royston stirring the pot, and other leftist media outlets stirring the pot around this to try and get people to turn on Trump. They can't stand that the nation backs Donald Trump. They just can't stand it. And they truly believe that their so-called democracy is in jeopardy when they themselves are the threat to democracy. Anyway, I would love to know what you think about all this nonsense that we're seeing here. Definitely let me know your thoughts below. As always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I will talk to you later. Bye!
Such a fraud.